because you've got to be able to recognize the illusion to do anything about it. And anyone that was born after 1913 has been born into the illusion and taught that that's truth. But it's really not. And I love this quote from George Carlin. The things that matter in this country have been reduced in choice. There are 2 political parties, there are a handful of insurance companies, and there are 6 or 7, it's actually 6, information centers. But if you want a bagel, you've got 23 flavors because you have the illusion of choice. And he's spot on correct. So let's take a look at what he means by that. Now I will say I had to pick and choose, but I could have done this same exercise, and did actually, for every single industry, and what I'm going to show you is similar whether you're looking at food or seeds or insurance or anything else. But I'm going to stay on the 3 pillars of perception management for our monetary system. So the first thing we're going to look at is media. Okay? Back in the early 80s, you had lots of choices with media. But over time and through consolidations, which are not done yet, that has all boiled down to just 6 media choices that actually control 90% of everything that we see, we read, and we hear. So there might be 1,000 choices on cable TV, but think about it. Do you really find things that you want to watch? Doesn't it just boil down to a few choices? And it's because the same guys are putting out the same kind of material. And what happens is it becomes very, very obvious that we are not getting the truth. Think about the current elections that we just went through. All you heard was how Hillary Clinton was going to win. But she didn't win. So where was that disconnect? All the media was touting and pushing Hillary, but the population made a different choice. So what you can really see in all of this is that the public, with these blatant errors, the public is losing confidence in the media institutions. And right now, on average, only 20% of the population trusts the media, whether it's on TV or on the internet or on the radio. Only 20 on average, 20% trust the media. That's probably not good when you're trying to get a message across. So the next thing we're going to look at is the government, because that's certainly important in our level of confidence. And it should be pretty clear from this graph that the public has lost a lot of confidence in the government. We did get a little bit of a boost from 9/11, but then when we found out that there were indeed no weapons of mass destruction, which is what they spun to get us involved in going into Iraq, you can see how that confidence evaporated pretty quickly. And a lot more since the crisis in 2008 occurred. Except now it is so blatant and so obvious, people are actually angry at the government. So it's going from loss of confidence to anger. And you have a massive amount, 75 or whatever, I can't see the number, but it's over 70% of the population that are angry at at how the federal government is performing, and over 62% at the state and local level. That's not very good. The only thing that's keeping that confidence in there is that they are relatively satisfied with how their personal lives are going. So if it's happening to a neighbor, but it's not happening to you, everything must be okay. When it happens to you, you get angry. So much for this confidence and anger that, according to Gallup, only 7% of the population trusts the Congress. 7%. That's pretty low. And in fact, it is the lowest confidence rating of any institution since Gallup started taking polls back in 1935. And what's the result of this loss of confidence in the government and the anger? Well, you have these two candidates that came in, and I mean, this is really interesting to me. I'm 62. In my lifetime, I have never seen two presidential candidates come in with so much legal garbage attached to them. I don't know. If somebody knows something different, email me. But I've never seen anything like this. So even in these polls, both of them ranked, Trump actually ranked the lowest according to Gallup, and Clinton wasn't too far below that, or above that, I should say. So was this really a choice? Well, who knows? Maybe Rupert Murdoch had some influence in this, Viacom. But this is what's happening around the world, is the populace, the population is losing confidence in the government, and also, as you'll see in a few minutes, in the central bankers, and they definitely don't trust the media. So there is a global backlash. Now, Trump was just elected, so it's a great time to show you the initial impact of a Trump win. First of all, the markets were below 18,000 and now they're making new highs. What suddenly changed? At first, all you ever heard was how the markets are going to react badly, blah, blah, blah. The reality doesn't really matter. The truth doesn't really matter. It's the perception of truth that matters. So traders have pushed the stock markets, at least temporarily, to new highs because they expect Trump to come in and do a lot of fiscal spending for infrastructure, etc. That means he's going to take on a whole lot more debt and he's going to spend a whole lot more money. So the traders think that's good for the stock market, and that's why you have that going up. Now, reality is it will also usher in inflation, which we'll talk about in just a second. What you're looking at here is a dollar chart against the main currencies that we are weighted against. And you can see that it's touching the highs and actually a resistance level that was created both here and here. Here's the problem with that. There is a ton of debt on a global basis that have been taken out in terms of US dollars, but these corporations don't earn dollars. They earn yuan or yen or something else, which means that they have to go out and buy dollars to service that debt. And what that also means is that it puts a lot more companies in jeopardy of default, which is what we can see in this next chart. Now, these happen to be the 2-year, the 10, and the 30-year Treasury yields. Look at how they are spiking. You have to pay attention to this because 84% of big derivative bets are tied to interest rates. So this is a very big deal. And what it's really telling you is that the markets are anticipating inflation and interest rates moving up far more than what Janet Yellen may do in December by moving it 1/4 of a point. Those are pretty significant spikes, and we're going to continue to pay attention to them because somewhere above 3%, and I don't really know where, but somewhere above 3% is likely to be a derivative trigger, and this matters to the whole system. The next major market implosion, you'll see how quickly confidence will be lost. Okay, so this is the initial reaction to a Trump win. Markets are higher, dollar is higher against other currencies. Your cost of living hasn't gone down because the dollar has gotten stronger because we're losing purchasing power. But this big spike in interest rates, this is the one that is very concerning. So we have to pay attention to that. I'm going to be doing a whole thing on just that